much easier to flood the zone with that than it is to get things done legislatively on the Hill that take a lot more time and in most cases some level of bipartisanship and cooperation.
Shannon, I don't know if you can see this, so let me describe what's happening live to you right now. There are about a dozen lawmakers, Democrats, attempting to get a meeting with the acting education secretary. This comes as President Trump has said with Department of Education might be something where Secretary McMahon, if she's confirmed, would get herself out of a job. And also you have the former Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, writing yesterday in the Free Press. She thinks the Department of Education should be eliminated. This is one of those things where they're probably not going to get access to this building, but Democrats are flummoxed as to how to deal with this, Shannon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. We see them showing up and protesting outside of a number of buildings, or actually, as we saw on Capitol Hill yesterday, I think it was, actually forcing themselves in their way into a meeting that they wanted to be a part of. And I think right now they feel like chaos is the strategy. I think that was the line that was in Playbook maybe this morning, talking about the fact that they know that they're going to be overwhelmed with all of these actions, all the things that they, are trying to get a hold of. They're showing up. We've seen protests. We've seen we're at war. We've seen them say, take this to the streets. It does feel like the Democrats are kind of back on their heels trying to get control of the messaging, much less the substance of all these different things that are happening.
And I think with the one congressman I can make out there is taking a photograph right now. I believe that's Maxwell Frost. And they're talking to a security guard. So let me just turn it back over, though, to Sandra to ask you another question. If we watch these Democrats who, again, performance art in a way, Sandra, to try to make a point?
Absolutely. You notice the camera's up, and you're noting Maxwell Frost, the person from Florida, in the picture there. Apparently, this is a security guard. But Shannon, obviously, this is just further signs of what needs to come. I spoke with Caroline Levitt yesterday and asked her about the president's intentions with the Department of Education. They're not detailing exactly where they're going with this, but there has been a lot of talk about dismantling it altogether or reworking it, but we just don't know, and that uncertainty leads to a lot of this.
It does, and conservatives have been talking about this for a long time, that they feel like states are much better equipped to handle the education system. It's closer to the parents, it's closer to the people that are directly involved, students as well. So it's one of those agencies that has been targeted by conservatives to say this doesn't need to be this federal behemoth that has all of this money when states and localities and local school districts know much more about what their students need. They are much more accountable to the parents who show up at these meetings, which we've seen the last few years, to demand answers and accountability for their kids. So not surprising that there would be this conversation about taking this away from the federal level and sending it back to local and state. But I think ideally for conservatives, they want it as local as possible. And that means a threat to the federal agency that now exists.
Shannon, let's try to see if we can hear anything more.
On your own behalf, you told the company for black members of
They know you're there. Ask the question again. That's important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress and line the dots?
Consider my job.
So everybody's
What is that?
You're not doing our jobs.
They're trying to say,
It's a little responsible.
Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress and members of the Department of Education?
So a private security contractor
You know who members of Congress are?
members
Sure,
of Congress.
members of Congress.
Maybe he doesn't understand.
A private security contractor is making the decision to block members of Congress from a public access entrance.
I don't think he knows.
You have the authority as a private security contractor to block members of Congress. That has been knighted and granted to you.
You have to at least let us go to the depths.
Yeah. When the door says, oh, no, don't do that. Who told you to do that? Open the door. But you understand who members of Congress are. Well, then you don't care. You don't care. We have a job to do.
We're not dangerous people. We're not, I don't know, we're the security. There are no thieves and thugs out here. We're members of Congress. We're parents, we're teachers.
There's our ID, right there. This is our job.
He's building against those members of Congress. Who are you protecting?
It's members of the people,
So
so
this is
these
the
are the
beginning of
people.
full transparency of this administration.
That's right.
The administration that talked about they're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't even open the door to this building, to members of Congress. We are not posing any threat here. We are not dangerous people. We have not done anything. We're trying to request a meeting, and they have a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education. We are members of Congress.
What you're saying is they're not, they allow billionaires and his minions to come in to this building.
I don't know who he is, but I know who I
They
am.
allow,
And I'm a member of Congress with oversight responsibilities trying to request a meeting, and a private security contractor is not allowing me to enter the building.
they allow billionaires to go in this building, but senators. They allow billionaires and police to come in, but not, there's a lot of transparency here. Members of Congress, people have been, and I'm allowed in. This is not transparent.
Not only are they not letting us in, now they call the Department of Homeland Security. They are members of Congress. They Department of Education.
Kids deserve to have a way to fight for them. Children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not corruption. Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This private contractor. We are members of Congress. Why would you see this man here who is a federal employee? He goes, are you a federal employee?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here because we pay for them to be here. He's standing here today, blocking the door, and he can't give us a good reason why he's blocking this door.
Make sure they see right here. All access entrance.
Well, I think it should be clear to parents in the United States, if you want to advocate on behalf of your children, you are not allowed to come into this building where you pay taxes. Parents who have children who are disabled, access is being blocked. You voted. You voted for members of Congress to advocate on behalf of your children. Children with disabilities, for young women who have been victims of sexual assault in our classrooms, on our school grounds, members of OCR fighting for your children. We are not allowed in the building to talk to them. We are not allowed to advocate on behalf of America's children. America, we have a problem.
Now, everybody stand back.
All right, so this is the Department of Education. You've got members of Congress from the Democratic side of the aisle trying to get in the building. You have a security guard who never wanted to be on television today, basically doing his job and denying them access. It is interesting. Fox News is the only one covering this live, and apparently this is what the Democrats want, right? They want to be on television. That's Maxine Waters complaining, Sandra, that they can't get in the building. And then you had other members of Congress saying that if you want to get in and fight for your children, you're not allowed. But we have some news this week that would make it sound like that's a little bit too late, guys.
Our nation's report card was shocking. The report card showed 7 out of 10 fourth graders are not proficient readers, Dana, a number that has worsened since the last report card in 2022. Worse, the numbers haven't improved in 3 decades. We're seeing the same thing for the middle schoolers at the 8th grade level. Less than a third of American students enter high school with the reading and comprehension skills that they need at that point in their lives. I mean, you talk about not getting access to the building, hearing from these folks, to go advocate for the kids. But what have they done lately, right? That report card has not improved. In fact, our nation's report card has worsened. There's a huge problem with the public school system in this country, and it has been failing our nation's children.
Shannon, bring the swinging in as Maxine Waters continues to berate the security guard.
Yeah, and listen, this is a great optic for Democrats who will want to use this and go out. You're going to see this stuff everywhere, probably. They've already got their teams rolling on it. And certainly this is what you do in Washington. There's the messaging and the optics of this, too. But I would point back to how many GOP lawmakers, just earlier this week, Senator Joni Ernst said every time she tried to get answers from USAID, and I'm not saying she showed up physically, she may have, But every time that members of Congress try to get information from a federal agency, there can be an issue. She talked about that. Talk to Senator Chuck Grassley, who has sent subpoenas and requests for information all over to federal agencies, to the DOJ, to all kinds of places, only to be told basically talk to the hand and not get the information. So this is a physical showing up and not getting to where you want to go, but you may get the optics that you want. But Republican members on the Hill will tell you many, many times they've tried to get information from federal agencies, maybe not in a physical sense, but very much in a way that they claim they also have access to information, and been told, no, they're not getting it, or met with silence.
Yeah, we put the report on those things with red arrows. That is the decline in the performance for nation's children in math and reading in grades 4 and 8. But, obviously are looking at Democrats as part of this agenda that was laid out, trying to obstruct. We don't know what the exact plans are, right, Shannon? The White House has still not been clear where they are going to go with this, but they are certainly highlighting this as a serious problem in this country. We don't know exactly what is happening here. We're not told exactly why this person's not letting them into the building. But certainly, like you said, the person saying a moment ago, he's doing a good job. So we've been anticipating this. But Shannon, maybe we'll get some clarity soon on this.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to me if they did go into the building, what would happen next? I mean, I think that they want to make a protest. They want to ask questions about what's going to happen, but I'm not sure what would be accomplished if they did go inside. There's not a confirmed Department of Education secretary. We actually said we don't know what the policy is going to be moving forward, but we know there are serious questions about how the department is functioning, what it's been focusing on, where it's been spending its money, and what that says in contrast to how states and localities may be better equipped to handle it. At least that's the argument for conservatives.
Shannon Brain, thanks for hanging with us. Linda McMahon is President Trump's nominee to head the Department of Education. That confirmation hearing will take place next Thursday, February 13th. And I guess Maxine Waters is going to stay out there. We're going to take a quick break.
Time for the hot topic of the hour. Despite Senate Democrats holding a 30-hour protest, President Trump's cabinet text says the office view the budget must vote confirmed along party lines. The vote will be sworn in this morning. Will play a role in suspending reallocating funds alongside zero tax zones. Democrats taking their fight against those who force the federal judge limiting agency access to the Treasury Department payment system records after 3 union groups filed a lawsuit. Another judge temporarily delaying President Trump's federal employee buyout deadline to Monday. Those who take the deal will receive pay benefits through September 30th. Now, the White House responds to that ruling. Here's what they say, quote, "We are grateful to the judge for extending the deadline so more federal workers who refuse to show up to the office can take the administration up on this very generous once-in-a-lifetime offer." So far, about 60,000 employees have accepted the offer. The White House expects that number to grow. Meanwhile, USAID employees, USAID, expected to be laid off today, drastically cutting that agency from more than 10,000 workers to just 294. The largest U.S. government workers union is suing the Trump administration to stop that from happening. Secretary of State Marco Rubio clarifying why these cuts are necessary. Watch this.
We're not trying to be disruptive to people's personal lives, but this is the only way we've been able to get cooperation with USAID. When we tried to do it from the top down, by getting cooperation from the central office of USAID, what we found instead are people trying to use the system to sneak through payments and push through payments despite the stop order. The United States will be providing foreign aid, but it is going to be foreign aid that makes sense and is aligned with our national interests.
All right, so here's the thing. The Trump administration, John, the target is 5 to 10% of the budget, right? That was somewhere in the range of $100 billion annual savings that would equate to if everybody takes this buyout. So that's why they're saying it's okay for you to wait until Monday. It gives people more time to take the deal.
Oh, that's right. I think this is long overdue, and a lot of people are going to take this deal, and perhaps the Trump administration could also tell agencies not to fill positions where individuals are retiring as time moves on. I mean, if somebody quits, okay, then we'll just leave staffing levels with the exist. And they could probably get ratings to a large extent. I mean, there are going to be some critical employees, especially in place to technology, use of new technologies. But there are going to be some, unfortunately, that have been there for years, really are needing to keep on staff much longer.
And I think this point, Joe, earlier in the coverage was that there was a movement under President Bill Clinton to get rid of USAID. This was years ago because of some of the ridiculous things they were spending money on then. And the agency survived. That's the bureaucracy angle of this. Today, we've got Transportation Secretary Duffy. He is now defending Elon Musk. He's defending Doge. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton slammed the agency after Duffy announced that Doge is going to help upgrade the U.S. aviation system. There were 2 fatal plane crashes. In just a week, Clinton posted they have no relevant experience. Most of them aren't even old enough to rent a car. You're going to let them mess with the airline safety that's already deteriorated on your watch. Well, Duffy fired back. He goes, with all due respect, experienced Washington bureaucrats are the reason our nation's infrastructure is crumbling. You need to sit this one out. He was also on Hannity, by the way, watch.
I want to look at what was the focus of the department, right? The main focus, back to the history, was safety. The problem is they were focusing on, as you mentioned, the environment, EVs, changing language for social justice. They want to be politically correct. And when you don't focus on your systems and your safety, bad things happen. So I looked at this last week. You haven't seen anyone drain the swamp more than Donald Trump has done in the last week. And when you do that, these swamp creatures raise their heads like Hillary Clinton has, and they push back and they lash out.
And Joe Borelli, I want you to listen to this, because this is the Democrats' way of complaining. Watch this.
This is a national emergency. In the aftermath of the election, many Democrats needed time to soul search, to breathe, to think, but that time has ended.
I'm here to simply say that Elon Musk, you're fired. But the Progressive Caucus has our gloves on, and we are in the ring.
Every day, Elon and his tech bros ride their skateboards over to a new agency and start crashing into their databases. This is not some kind of game. These things will cost lives.
Congressman Jerry Connolly and other Democrats are going to call for the committee's Republicans to subpoena Elon Musk.
All right, Joe Borelli.
I mean, you heard it here first, right? This is a national emergency. What will we ever do without Polish puppeteering troops and cross-dressing kickball leagues in Chile, right? These are the kind of things that really made the headlines that USAID is going to lose their ability to fund. I mean, going back to that Hillary...
Diamonds don't sparkle like this. Yellow diamonds sparkle like this. I got 2 pens on my wrist. I spend your rent on my kicks. I bought a shoes on my wrist. Fuck your bitch just for the kick. Got some Molly, I'm taking the pins. Pour it up, yeah, I got bitches. And fuck this. Your diamonds don't sparkle like this.
Good morning, boys. It's currently Tuesday morning. I was actually debating on starting the vlog tomorrow. I'm going to have to start today, so it is my last day here. I just also I ran out of hair product on the strips, and I was flat. It's just like, what? So basically, I'm still in Florida. I'm headed back to Miami tomorrow, and I'm not headed back to Miami, but I'm headed back to Miami. I want to go take at and possibly sign a lease. You guys know I'm absolutely fiending to get the hell out of Arizona and just like get to Miami already, just move to Miami. I'm literally going to pay double rent just so that I can, because Miami is just good vibes. Arizona, to be honest, is really not. So I'm ready to just get out of Arizona and start my new life in Miami. So I'm basically headed there tomorrow. I'm going to go tour some more apartments. I'm going to go tour this one specific apartment, which I'm like 90% sure that I'm going to sign on, and then hopefully very soon I'll be moving to Miami. So right now, on my little morning walk, I'm having my parents. This convenience store way down the street. So every morning, I kind of went on a little walk for a run. This morning, I'm not going to run because I worked out for this week and I'm just a bit rested. My legs are kind of sort of out there. Walk to the convenience store, and I got to hop on that computer because I got some work to get done. But I know I told you guys to, bro, my hair is actually so fried. I need to find some fucking hair product somewhere. This shit is just like flat. But as I was saying, I know I told you guys to hold me accountable to my whole little workout kick here. I've actually been doing good. I've been in, Florida for like 5 days now and worked out every day except one. So we've been doing good. I've been eating cleaner as well, which is much easier when I'm visiting my mom because she cooks for me and makes me eat shit. But yeah, boys, that's kind of where we're at currently. Today's just going to be kind of a little bit of a work day. More of a chill work day. I don't have an insane amount to do. And tomorrow, we're traveling back to Miami. First thing first, start the morning. What you gotta go ahead and do is work through the Slack as well as go through all of this stuff. Obviously, we went down and we got a bunch of messages and shit that I gotta go through. So that's first off, I'm making good priority to get all that stuff cleared out. Like I said, today's more chill. Past couple of days have come off the wall busy. Ever since I kind of caught up on my head because I've had off-key run. Working about 13, 14-hour work days, which has been really good. I know I mentioned in my last video that I would basically be coming here just to do exactly that. I would just log into work and just kind of like reset and get caught up on things. So now that I've finally done that, it feels good, and I've got a little more chill work day today, and then tomorrow go to Miami, which also tomorrow too. But it felt really good to get back to that scene. Nothing is
Somebody tell Carver I just won our headshot contest.
Basically, I'm just going to kind of get through all my stuff, see if I can make it. So I'll see if I can one thing I say, I'm going to this one message himself with your team. It's like, yo, it's like, what I'm doing is working, and once I pitch them fully, they're just kind of see, this is the mistake I see anyone, not just newbies, not even just people, really experts in the game, all stages. I see this as one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to outreach, chat, not following, see here, the opposite center message with the movie video, he started out with the pitch of what exactly ran over the white let it sit for about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, make that cannot stress enough.
Sounds like they got my little gift.
So just keep that in mind when you're doing So this is like my first time driving since, I don't even know, it's been like since I've driven a car, bro, because I've been traveling so much lately that I haven't been home. I miss my M3. Most importantly, I miss my mentor. But I don't even. Hopefully, we have a back soon enough. Last time I tried this, I'm paying out the shop. But right now, it's a couple hours since I recorded the last clip. I just kind of started working, doing the things that I mentioned I was going to take down. So I gotta go grab some food as well as I gotta go to the store and get a few things. Talk with you. My parents are right now. Oh, gee, we got the top down. It's good vibes today. But yeah, I basically gotta go to the store and try to get some I probably look weird as fuck walking around with a camera because this town is just nothing but good people and we're probably like, what the hell is going on? But at the same time, I know this shit is here. I need another work here, which is fucking looks like it's fried. Like, it's like here, now it's time to grab some lunch somewhere. My mom recommended this spot to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and go there, see what it's about. Let's get to the little lunch spot. I'm hungry as shit, bro. It's like 2 p.m. I haven't ate anything today, so whatever. Place I don't know. Whatever I get here is about to smash. Because you all know, I get Sheila's chicken wrap with side fries and fingers. When I get home, I have to send a $52,000 wire to my business partner, which, I mean, it's a good thing because that, well, before I'm going broke. Spend way too much money on my spend way too much fucking money on the business. It's just good because, you know, we're reinvesting money. That's fucking good. 50K in the Solana last night, which is also good because it's up 10% today, but huge dip down to like $175 last night, so I bought like 50K worth. And going back to Miami, you gotta spend money on a driver, gotta spend money on an Airbnb, a flight back home to Arizona, gotta loan other contracts. Oh my gosh, man. Everybody wishes for this lifestyle until you gotta fucking keep up with it. But I really can't complain. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm blessed to be in this position. This is the shit that I used to pray for. I'm going back to the crib though, get some work done, on food, and yeah.
Extraction bird in your ale. Limited time offer.
Now I get to get rich. $2,000. Fuck. Let's acquire company group. $52,899. Bro, it's all good though. At the end of the day, each business is going good. Hey, Mark. How you doing, man? Boys will also be that's another little mix.
Prepare for exfil. Marking site.
That account. That's not my ads. Yeah, we could. I think there's TikTok. They have a bunch of size clients, require a lot of volume. So we want to make sure as we're kind of changing the structure of the way the agency performs our accounts, that we're maintaining the structure accounts so that we can obviously get our clients the best results as smoothly as possible and make sure the service is top tier as well. So essentially how we're going to have this structure with the agency is we're going to have an account manager and then a media buyer and then obviously a head media buyer, so someone to kind of audit all of the media buyers' decisions and kind of guide the media buyers in making the right decisions, and then have account managers assigned to each particular client who's going to kind of manage the communication between the media buyer and the client itself. That way we can get the client fast responses as well as just fast communication between the media buyer and the client particularly, so changes can be made frequently. That's kind of a yap. Hopefully that makes sense in the way that I explained it. Big things for the agency. As you've seen the progress over the past couple of months, we're doing a lot of infrastructure revamp, which Mason and I both are stoked about. It's going to be super cool, super just good for the long-term growth of the agency, and we're really just solidifying the infrastructure of the agency so that we can start to take things to scale when it comes to obtaining new clients and overall just scaling our current clients. But we're going to hop on that 4 p.m. meeting with a client now. It's crazy to think, though, how far I've came in the past 2 years from doing all of this stuff by myself to now having many full-time employees and having a full agency built out. Like 2 years ago, bro, the whole agency was me. I was just a freelancer with like 10, 20 clients, just slaving away, doing all this on my own, trying to make 10, 20K a month. And now it's just crazy to think of where I'm at and how far this agency has came. And it's really cool to think I've documented this whole process, and there's been people on the other side of this screen who have watched that whole process. That just goes to show how doable it really is if you put the work in and you actually just want. I can stop yapping now before I'm late to this meeting. Yo, what's good, bro?
Population? Well, less than yesterday. Never been so glad to see backup arrive. Lucky I'm still in one piece. I need you to look for survivors, subdue any threats. Help us save this town.
Usually that one too, as long as you have access to that. You're only going to need it just so that you can get your clients paid. As long as you just have some personal accounts, doesn't have to user client access to your client business portfolio, you should be able to no.
Listen up. We've got 3 scientists unaccounted for, last seen in town. Locating and extracting them is now your top priority.
Sunshine is the best disinfectant, so I let some into your skull. This box can't screw me over any worse than Rick Toffin.
For a team who didn't expect to take on the apocalypse today, you're handling this well.
Also, just check this out. I bought $1,000 from Solana last night. 35K Coinbase on the hot roll. Coinbase for that bank. So last night Solana did run like 50 racks worth, like 190, I think. So I saw that shit dumping. I dumped a bunch of money into it. My goal here is I think my portfolio is worth like 6 figures right now. But in the next like 3 months, I want to just keep dumping cash into it and get my crypto portfolio worth.
I'm in no mood for your shit today, Box.
Because right now I'm just sitting on too much cash and haven't been good enough about investing. So my goal kind of this month, these next couple months, whatever this year is, to get more money into actual investments. That way, obviously, the majority of what I'm buying right now is Solana. Also buying some smaller caps, AI coins and stuff like that. just kind of mentioned. Like I said, it's kind of just like a random sporadic work day. It wasn't really much of a scheduled out day. I didn't really have anything like big tasks that I had to get done. The one thing I do need to do right now is constantly finish the whole new module for the ERT in regards to like posting content, using content to nurture prospects and to actually closing them into a qualified client. The one thing I need to work on right now that I'm going to go ahead and do is getting those videos uploaded into the actual program inside the Discord. I start here right now, though, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is move out here and enjoy the nice weather because it's my last night here. Tomorrow, I'm located out here, working on this, we're trying to get this implemented. It's a series of videos I've been working on for a while now, so I don't know where we should I got my admin getting that implemented into the Discord as we speak. So if you're an ERT member and you're watching this video, new module is out now. Got some salad. Shit's about an 8 type shit.
What?
Yep.
What am I typing?
Shit. Type shit.
Why?
I don't know. Alright, boys. We just wrapped up dinner. We just wrapped up a little post-dinner work session as well. I've kind of just been thinking while I was working. The past couple days of February have not been the best in business, just overall. Like, things have kind of been slow. Things just haven't been flowing. We've kind of, ever since everyone kind of got back from Miami, we're trying to get back on track, like just kind of recuperate. I think that fucked us up a little bit. So the past
Don't be surprised by the Democrats' ferocious, almost hysterical response to Elon Musk. He's hammering the bloated and wildly inefficient federal government. The bureaucracy is on the chopping block. The bureaucracy is dominated by Democrats. It supports their causes. It's the way they influence government, even when the Democrats are not in power. With headlines like this, look at this, Washington is in angry turmoil. Trump administration to lay off nearly all of U.S. aid agency staff. Of around 10,000 staffers, only 294 will be retained. The Washington Post, nearly 170 EPA environmental justice workers put on leave in latest Trump shakeup. Elon Musk is plowing through government departments to a degree never seen before. No corner of D.C. is left untouched. That's why the left is screaming constitutional crisis. Musk has to be fired. Take to the streets to fight. So far, voters don't seem to care. Trump sits at his highest approval level ever, and the demonstrators in the streets number in the hundreds, not thousands. So what do the Democrats do to stop Doge? They bring on the lawyers and go to court. Thursday, 2 judges put a temporary hold on Musk's efforts. Federal Judge George O'Toole paused the buyout offer. Federal Judge Colleen Kolopatelli limited Musk's access to the Treasury Department. The issue here is whether Doge can impound money that Congress has already appropriated and whether Musk can gut agencies established by Congress. The Democrats will forum shop, that is, they'll search for Democrat-friendly courts, and they'll find them, and then there will be appeals. Yes, there may be delays, but my guess is that the constitutional questions will be fast-tracked to the conservative Supreme Court. Meanwhile, cue the hysteria, Democrats see their influence crumbling.
All right, joining us now is Senator Ed Schmidt right here on set. Senator, thank you ever so much for doing this. Can I just want to go through this Politico story. Somehow, U.S. Politico denies everything. So where are these rumors coming from? USAID either helped them with subscription money, which helps them stay in business, Politico, or some estimates are it was not $8 million, it was $34 million and change. President Trump talked about it today, said they were basically paying Politico to toe the party line, the Democratic Party line. And anyway, the point is, what were they doing getting any money anyway from USAID?
Millions of dollars for subscriptions from USAID. And then, by the way, it's very much of a toe the company line, the regime's narrative all the time. Anyway, and by the way, you don't have to look too far. I mean, during the censorship enterprise that we covered in my lawsuit, the Missouri versus Biden one, this was federal agencies working with big tech too. So they were spreading the money around to get their narrative. But I think the political thing, as crazy as that is, like, you still had millions of dollars going to sex change operations in Guatemala. You have, trans comic books and trans operas and DEI training in Burma. I mean, this stuff is insane. I think this is the fight we want, Larry. I love that they're running around continuing to talk about this because people have been waiting for this kind of reform in government and accountability at the federal level. Let's do it now.
Federal government hasn't been audited, I don't know, since 1940 or something. Seriously, I mean, nothing like this has ever happened. The fact that the liberal Democrats, left-wing Democrats are holding rallies hanging Elon Musk in effigy, I find to be a wonderful thing. It shows you Musk is doing a great job, exactly what President Trump wanted to do. They're talking about stuff like now, let's say Medicaid, okay, which is supposed to be a health care program for everyone. But if you're an able-bodied person and you could work, why should you be subjected to work requirements? Just for that, which is now in the papers today. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to bring this reconciliation package. It's going to be all things tax related. I think those are the kind of...
We can forgive him for that. He said Lil Peep's trash, but we can forgive him for that. He said XXX Tentacion is trash, but we might be able to forgive him for that. I should have got an abortion. Abortions.
All things are themselves, their opposite, nothing, everything, great yet small. All things are connected and yet divided at once. This may confuse you, but welcome to reality. We're all stuck here. It's deeply unfair and complex to a point of near insanity, but somehow it all holds together. We're stuck in such a brutal game since we need something interesting to do, and boring games aren't interesting. Thus, we're stuck in the most interesting game possible, that being reality. A game which for most of our lives is in fact boring. Are you starting to see the point? Paradox is so intimately woven into reality as to be a natural law in itself. This is what the wise men of all of history have said, most strongly encapsulated in the Oriental tradition. However, one of the principles that underlie the innate paradox of the universe most easily for me is that if you want to know someone or something's character, I can often look to their projections to see who they really are. Those who are psychologically not well developed constantly tell on who they really are and what they truly believe by talking about those who they hate and also the stories they tell about themselves. One of the easiest principles in this regard, which I've mentioned in a few previous videos, is that what the left says about the right is really what the left is. The left says that the right is motivated by hate, uses institutional power to subtly control everything indirectly, that the right is sexist, racist, obsessed with power. It's a little bit erratic, but I'm going to give it a go.
We are so close to recovering the Sentinel artifact. It should be somewhere in that excavation site. Remember, the artifact is our only hope of bringing Nexus back from the dark ether.
There has been...
Well, I've got a magic amulet and a shitload of bullets. Possibly go wrong.
left leaning and extreme left side of the Democrat Party over what's been happening recently with Elon Musk and his partners. And listen, I'm not saying that Elon Musk is one of the great people, right? That's right, lads. Put your backs into it. But you know what? It's just me. I try to be fair and balanced. But it's very interesting that it's doing the job that he was asked to do. What was that? Go in, take fine-tooth comb, different budget line items, while all these dollars that are going out that came in from my pocket, your pocket, via taxes, via the sweat on our brow, the breaking of our back, the long hours, the stress, all this sort of thing, right? Taxes that were collected. And make sure that those taxes that are collected are not being spent improperly, that there is a actual cause and a reason that makes sense behind every expenditure. So, I say that to say this. I use a budget for my house, right? I know what I get paid, I know exactly what's coming in, and then I know exactly what's going out, where it's going, and what it's being used for. In my budget, there is a little bit of room if in a certain week I have an expenditure that's not that good, and there's a need in another area, I will use that money that way. Now, can you imagine, all right, my wife trusts me to pay the bills and to use money in a way that is beneficial to the home. And I start spending that money, instead of spending it to put food on our table, I start spending that money to put food on the neighbor's table. And I do this all the time. And my kids are starving, my wife is wondering what's going on here. And she asked me, are you using the budget? Are you paying your... Yeah, I'm using that budget. But I'm not using it the way that she thought I was using it. I'm misusing it. And I'm actually failing my wife and my family if I'm taking care of someone else and not them. They're my most immediate concern. So I say that to say this, is that American tax dollars need to be, first of all, used here in the United States. We can't have, for instance, $55 million that were spent to send condoms to Gaza. People say this is a made-up story, but it is a line item out there. And then it was just recently came out today that there were millions and millions of dollars that were used by the USAID or USAID to fund subscriptions to Politico, which is a left-leaning, one-sided news organization that are being funded by American taxpayers. And last time I checked, in our country, we have both right-leaning and left-leaning Americans. But for the most part, I think most people are decent Americans, and they want to get along with everybody. You have extremes at each end that just want their way and only their way. So when you see a government that is funding a political news outlet that leans in one certain direction to the tune of millions and millions of dollars, and you know that this news organization only puts out articles that feed the left's narrative, you wonder, why are we doing this? Why are we sending that much money there? We have to be able to know exactly how our money is being spent for the American people.
not for a party, not so that there could be signal on one side of the aisle versus the other.
Wait a minute, it stopped working.
Just take the fucking thermostat out.
Tools. Gotta have tools.
There's already he ain't a car guy like you. You gotta get your ass up there and help him.
Well, first off, I don't exist in an area where it fucking hurts to breathe. let's be real here.
You exist in an area where it hurts to breathe, then why don't you cover
No, that's where you live at, motherfucker. You live in the fucking snow shit.
Yeah, that cold is a nightmare.
It does not hurt to breathe in the snow. Y'all are being a bunch of pussies.
I don't like that shit. I hate that cold.
Shut up. You guys are pussies. I'm from New York. I'm from New York. It's cold. Oh no.
New York sucks ass, by the way. Like everywhere is hilly. Especially where Keem is. Like Keem got us an Airbnb for fucking fat camp, and it was behind somebody else's house. It was like the mother-in-law's suite special, and it was on this fucking hill. And we'd be sore as fuck. And it was such an incline. It felt like you had to get on your hands and knees to get this fucking incline.
That's probably why you're so fucking fat. Why you live in flat places. What the fuck?
Shit.
There's a reason there's stairs in my house, bitch.
Dude, the hills are great. Who the fuck wants to live in a flat place? Like, what? That's the most
so boring
place to live.
Like, I'll give this to fucking New Yorkers, right? If you drink and drive in fucking upstate New York, you're on expert level drinking and driving. Like, there's so many fucking turns and hills and blind corners. It's like you have to be an amazing driver to be drinking and driving in upstate New York.
I will say, when we went to your house for Thanksgiving wings, when I drove to your house, it was the most boring shit. It was just go in a straight line, turn, go in a straight line, turn, go in a straight line. I'm at Wings' house.
Yeah, it's flat here. It's super flat. I live in the flatlands.
Dude, when you're in a sports car and you're driving around here, it's fun. It's like being in the California hills.
100%. I'm like, I've told Kelly we got to bring the Camaro up here to Keem's house one day. Yeah, because that would be so fucking fun. Just to dog it.
So you ever getting out of the house at all? I mean, you mostly stuck in there most of the time now?
I don't know. I like to go on walks here and there, and I got friends of mine that'll come take me out to do things. But
yeah, I've seen some of the walking
most of the
videos,
time I tend to be home.
I've seen the walking videos.
I hate to price your fucking life when we're so fatty, but like you got the new house and everything. But are you putting stuff away? Because like, what happens when like the heater goes out, or like the water heater goes out, or things of that nature?
You mean like the water pump?
Yeah. What is your future? Because if you can't fix their thermostat, which is like a $25 fucking part, you literally for $50 you could have your car running again.
Well, homie, as I said, it's not just the thermostat. More stuff failed in that bad.
Well, most likely what happened is your thermostat failed, and it failed, and it overheated the car. And you overheat the car, you most likely warped the heads or blew the head gasket. The car's probably trash, let's be honest. Right? And I'm doing this all the time. But, like, you can get another car, like, you can get an Impala, like, especially where you live at, that's got some rust on it for, like, $2,000. And you ain't doing that. Why?
Bro, he's a guest on our show, and you're being like, how come you don't have a fucking car? You should have a fucking car.
As a car guy,
I'm going to be honest.
How old are you? Wings,
I'm going to be honest. You know what you come off as right now? You come off as that high school douchebag that has a sports car and peaks in high school. And then when he gets out, he's still asking you, how much do you make a year?
Hold on. You're saying, first off, high school was fucking terrible for me. And, like, I'm Mr. Worldwide. Everybody knows me all over the fucking world. I didn't peak in high school.
Okay, first off, he comes across like that forever. I have to get a phone call 3 times a week about how he makes fucking Tina feel because he thinks he's a fucking know-it-all bragging bitch, and he's married to an ugly bitch. So make that make sense.
Bro. You know who's going to be an ugly bitch here in a minute? Look at you.
Fatty, I was promoting MetaPC to one of my sponsors, and he's married to an ugly bitch. So he comes across like that forever. I have to get a phone call 3 times a week about how he makes fucking Tina feel because he thinks he's a fucking know-it-all braggish bitch, and he's married to an ugly bitch. So make that make sense.
So
Bro.
You know who can be an ugly bitch here in a minute? Look at you.
Fatty, I was promoting MetaPC, it's one of my sponsors, and he, on my show where I'm promoting it, started dogging them. And they're a great company, great people. Yeah, that's Wings of Redemption for you.
I'm just, it comes off as an asshole. I know I come off as an asshole because I'm blunt, but it's in a place of concern because I see the subtle nuances under everything. Like the fact that you don't got a car, your car is not getting fixed. If you're not fixing your car, you're not saving money. Right?
You mind if I put it bluntly to you then, as a blunt man yourself?
Bring it.
If you genuinely gave a fuck, you would reach out about it personally, instead of pulling it on a show to try to win you some brownie. Love you, girl, but you got it.
I'm looking at my chat right now. I got 6,000 people here staying in my pile of junk in my chat right now. This guy said I'm a pile of junk. I'm not winning brownie points here. I'm meeting you for the first time.
It's an attempt, brother. You're trying to make yourself sound better. Like, oh, I'm going to give this kid some financial advice. Brother, if you really do care about it, really worry about it, hit me up back from the shop.
Fight it, okay? Fight it.
Now that you're here,
Fight it.
let's lock down that AO.
It's got nothing to do with fighting it back. It's me wanting to have a better life. How old are you? You're my age, right? 28?
28, bud. 28.
You got time. You got time.
No, I got plenty of time, but you worried about me like I'm in my 50s, bro. I'm got shit to do with you.
I thought you were my age. I thought I'm almost 40.
That's okay. One of the people in season 3 thought I was 50. Mark specifically thought I was 50.
Hey, no way, yo, Fatty, are you like a staple on Fish Tank now? Are you there every season?
Who wants an omelet? I don't know if I'll be there for every season, but it does seem like I'll be making returns, cameos, and things like that.
Yeah, good. You should be on every season. You're my favorite. I'll tell you, one thing that I have a lot of pride in was able to set up that fight with Sam Hyde. Because iDubbbz really put it out there, oh, nobody will work with him, no one will ever have him up, and da-da-da. iDubbbz, you do creative fight, which is amateur YouTube boxing stuff. I'm on the zone. One of the #1 boxing streaming platforms there is. I got Sam Hyde on fucking the zone. So it's I was able to pull that off, and it was just such a big fuck you to them, and them trying to say that, Sam.
Billy wants to come in.
Yeah, Billy wants to come in. Sure, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna be the heaviest podcast. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, don't get this.
Wait, Billy?
You know Billy the Fridge?
Billy!
Fatty. How you doing, brother? Yeah, he's so good work, brother. Yeah, so here's the deal. I met Fatty in Seattle the last night you worked with iDubbbz. He had you up in a hotel. Hotel chilling. Didn't know anybody in Seattle. He had you, and you're sitting there alone. You're on Instagram, just chilling, smoking alone. A buddy of mine, we were mutuals. He was like, Billy, go show Fatty Seattle. I went. We never met before. We hung out. We went all around Seattle. You are one of the funniest, realest dudes. You are I adore you, dude. You are a sweet boy.
I'm so glad.
That night that you and I hung out, I knew that you needed a hug in life. And when I saw you show up on Fish Tank, and when I saw people fall in love with you, and then when I saw you come on season 3, and when I saw you and Sam shadow boxing, and when I saw you announce that you were under 300 pounds, I cried with you, dude. I cried with you, man. I felt so much love for you in that moment, bro. I'm so proud of you. Billy, I'm so proud of you. Billy, you didn't cry
I can't wait to see you again.
Billy, you didn't cry when he appeared on Locale Live?
I'm crying now,
It's a
Gene.
big show.
I've been crying and waiting, Gene. I've been crying and waiting.
No, I'm telling you, Fatty, Wings, when Wings was saying that stuff about getting your car fixed, Wings is a weird guy when it comes to the way he talks, but it's coming from the heart with Wings.
It just comes out weird. This is how Wings works. I don't think he's trying to hit you on
Billy's
below the
right.
belt.
Like this, both of these people will tell you, I'm one of the nicest people you ever fucking meet.
Yeah. He's got an edge.
Fatty.
You don't realize where the edge is.
Fatty, let me vouch for Wings. Wings was definitely trying to bully you.
I want to see y'all fight for pink slips. Fight for pink slips. Fight for pink slips. Fight for pink slips. I want to say this, Fatty. If you can make it to Fat Camp after Rolling Loud, if you can make it to Fat Camp, I'm going to be there. The boys are all going to be there. There's going to be a whole bunch of other fats there. It's going to be something really fun and entertaining, and you will add a magical element to it. I know it. It's going to be funny, dude.
Really, I think Fatty's gonna fucking launch a show in the network. To be honest, I think that's what we're gonna work on because.
I think it'll be good for you. It'll get that car up and running.
And then we're getting a new car. And then we're drag racing Wings of Redemption.
Those big flips.
Wings, tell you what. You guys want me to drag race? Let's get my hands on one of these bad boys.
Oh, Fatty. Do you think Bert might want to come train us at Fat Camp?
It's possible if we hit him up and see. It's possible.
Who the fuck's Bert? He is a trainer. Bert is the black urban trainer. He is
fucking fun, dude. I tell you what. You're gonna fucking love him. I'm telling you right now. You and he would love fucking Bert.
Yeah, we might have to talk about this after the show. He's from Fish Tank season 3. He won Fish Tank season 3, and he is a character. Have they paid him yet? He's. I don't think he got the full 50K, but he's got some pay. But he's a funny guy. Fatty on the network is a W. I think that's what he's got.
I think it might happen. It just depends. Yeah, plan. Yeah.
And Fatty, I don't know. You were talking about your sex stories earlier. You mind if I talk about our trip to the strip in Seattle?
Oh God, go right ahead. Oh my God.
Real quick, before we tell this story, we all don't know. Wait, real quick.
118 Superjet at $19.99. Bring on Billy.
Okay. One more.
The boat Superjet at $40.
Jackpot. Who fucking Fatty, ask Boogie what he likes.
Boogie, what do you like?
I like wieners, god damn it, I like wieners. God damn it.
Alright, tell the story, Billy.
Really?
I love wieners. When I went to hang out with Fatty in Seattle, he was one night only. He was filming with iDubbbz. This is the last time he worked with iDubbbz. We were all in Seattle. We went to Dick's Drive-In, got some burgers, and then what else is there to do in Seattle? I could take you to see the ladies. There's this huge strip of Seattle where the girls walk up and down, and they sell themselves all up the road. And we pull up to the Chick-fil-A. There's a couple of girls there. The windows rolled down. They walk up to the window, and they're trying to get Fatty to buy them for the evening. And then it was like $100 for mouth stuff. And Fatty's like, how much to go down on you? And she's like $100.